Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and if you're new here on my channel, I usually talk about Japanese movies, dramas, entertainment. Sometimes I talk about other Asian pop culture topics as well. In today's video, we're here to talk about one of my favorite things to discuss here on my channel, which is No.Ⅰ. August 16 is such a big day for Iris or No.Ⅰ fans, simply because there's just a lot that went on. First things first, so I watched the numbering stream on Prime Video with my friend. That's why you can see my show Uchu at the back. I'll be making a separate video for that, like all my thoughts and reactions about that concert. But for today, we're gonna focus on the premiere or the debut performance that No.Ⅰ did for Inazuma, which is their new song and lead track for their first album. They did this on MStar Music Station, and I was so hyped for this simply because I've been craving for a new release ever since, they released GOAT, Bon, numbering, the entire thing, and I am always looking forward to whatever it is that they're going to be releasing. Jin or Jinguji was the one who produced this song, and knowing some history about Jin's productions before, like he usually has the live performances in mind first before actually conceptualizing, what goes into the song and all these other things. I was really looking forward as to how this song is going to turn out, simply because we saw Shaw's taking the creative lead when he did Bon, and now it's Jin's turn, so it's really exciting. So with that said, let's already get into it. Off the bat, I can say that there's a lot of heavy influences when it comes to synth pop, pop rock, or even rock in this kind of like intro and throughout the music for Inazuma. I think that has to do with Jin's taste as well. Like, he's very much into vintage, retro, all these other things, and it's very reflective of how just the entire vibe of the song is. And No.Ⅰ was also part of like the songwriting and the arrangement process of this, and it speaks a lot to their tastes, especially when they start creating their own favorite songs in some interviews and stuff like that. It's very reflective of how they're very much into previous era's songs as compared to modern ones, and it's reflective of the influence that went into Inazuma's entire arrangement that is very prominent right off of the first notes of the song. Like the synths in the background, the arrangement of it, it's giving a little bit of like a retro vibe to it. It's not exactly like a new sound type of arrangement, but at the same time it's not bad. Like it's always something jumping into this territory of re-exploring genres that isn't something that we constantly see in younger groups right now, especially groups within the same niche as say No.Ⅰ, or just artists within their age range at the moment, which I think is really cool. This part right here, the zoom. I've talked about this, I think, in my previous videos before, as well as on Twitter. I think No.Ⅰ is doing a good job in terms of creating moments in their songs or in their lead tracks that kind of like is easy to adapt to audiences or listeners. And what I mean by that is because their songs are very complicated, the ones that they currently are releasing for their lead tracks with Bon, with GOAT. There's a lot of high-level rapping, a lot of like switch-ups when it comes to the rhythm, when it comes to just the vocals and all of these other things. So it's definitely overwhelming for audiences or first-time listeners or just even fans in general to keep up with that kind of momentum for those songs. But having moments that kind of like just simmer and allow fans to vibe with you, they do such a good job in adding that to the main parts of their songs. Now with Goat's chorus, with Bon, like it's not complicated. It's usually just goat, goat, Bon, Bon, and then for this one it's Inazuma, Zuma, Zuma, you know. So they have these moments where it's you don't have to overthink it. It's just easy for it to catch on. But another thing that I like about their songs is with other artists or current artists right now, there's a lot of attempt to create songs that are intentionally TikTok viral sounding, but for them they still stick true to the sound that they want. It's still not very mainstream pop type ish, but at the same time they create moments like this where it's easy for people to kind of like dance to, adapt to all these other things. And I think they're just doing such a good job in terms of strategizing how these songs, at least the lead tracks as well, to really kind of like resonate in that manner. Kishi! This part right here made me laugh a bit because I know that Jin loves Harry Potter. His favorite film is The Chamber of Secrets. And I think Shaw also mentioned before that he's a fan of Harry Potter. So the reference to Harry Potter, especially with Inazuma, because Inazuma means thunder in Japan, or lightning in Japan, sorry. But it's just so funny how they kind of like, it shows a lot about, you know, how involved they are in the process, because part of their personalities and preference trickle down to the lyrics of the song. And that's also very same with Goat and Bon. It just shows how hands-on they are in their current productions. And I don't know, it's just so cute in my opinion. There's that. And then the energy that they have in this song as well, like it's very high energy, very dynamic, but and I'm not sure if this is just my bias showing, but I can completely see that they've rehearsed this a lot because of how effortless it now looks, the way they're just kind of like vibing to the sound of this, because again, this is a very overwhelming track. This is so cute right here. Kishi's rapping is insane, especially for this song. And for some reason, there's just something about his swag in particular that kind of like really screams at you watching this performance. I don't know if that's just me, but I was like when I first saw this, I was completely just hyping so much for Kishi and the way that he's delivering this performance. This is so cute. The footwork, always so cute when it comes to number I. And from what I've been noticing so far, like the choreography again isn't as complicated as they did with Bon and Goat. And I think that's really smart, especially with how, like, I see this song, and I tweeted this last night. I see this being performed in festivals, Coachella, maybe. I mean, they've done it this year, so maybe next year. But again, this is giving a lot of like festival vibes, live performance, and because this is a Jin production, like it wasn't surprising to me because again, as I've said, Jin in the past, he's talked about conceptualizing the live performances first before actually getting into the concept of a song. He's did that with Doll before. With La Fend, he's shown his range when it comes to songwriting and being involved in arranging and producing and all these other things. He's also very much involved in their concert production back when they were still in KP. So it's no wonder why his kind of like vision when it comes to producing, comes live performance first, and then like everything just follows. And that's just a very, very interesting take when it comes to producing something, especially from scratch. I think that's amazing, and it shows in this particular performance. And I think the way that the song is just like arranged and stuff like that, and him being in charge of it, if I were to compare it to Shaw's Bon, it shows a lot of how different their kind of like styles are, creative takes on things. Because with Shaw, he talked about editing his own video to conceptualize, to reach this kind of like vision, to show the director his vision for the music video for Bon. There's a lot of like theatricality and creativity that went into Shaw's production that is very, and a lot of like detail or big picture type of approach to Shaw's way of producing things, which shows a lot about his creative process. And then for Inazuma, which I'm looking forward to the music video as well, it shows Jin's creative process in a different way on how he kind of like sees live production, stage, the way that it's going to be performed in these other opportunities that they're going to be doing, and all these things. And it made me really excited as to what Kishi will be producing in the future, because again, they all have different styles, but for some reason, when they combine it all together with their different efforts and artistic opinions and all these other things, it just turns out really, really good. And it shows in this particular performance. And again, I can be completely biased because I am their fan, but just looking at it from that perspective is really, really nice and interesting. Kishi! And there's just something about this song that I love that part. I love this part. Also, the way that Kishi and basically all three of them are headbanging to the song. This is so cute. Can I just say, one thing that I absolutely love during their No.Ⅰ era is the way that they're really going to give Shaw these types of like songs that make use of his lower register, because again, in previous years he's always preferred or opted for singing with a higher pitch because he's so protective of his throat, his vocals, because he has such a husky voice. But he has a lot of texture in his voice that he wasn't using before when he's doing that. And now with their songs, especially with their direction towards hip-hop, towards pop rock-ish types of songs, they like that, like the richness of his voice becomes very, very prominent in these types of songs. And it's not like the usual ballads where he also shows this type of range, but it shows a different side to his vocals that I absolutely am loving. And I love that they're able to showcase that and even highlight that and put a spotlight to that in this current era that they're doing with their new music, especially in this particular part. The buildup of the tension in this song is insane. This part was just so, like, you completely forgot, you completely can forget that this is a TV performance. This feels like the recent performance in Rockin' Fest or something that they'll do in Summer Sonic, because of just, again, and I can picture them doing this in the Coachella crowd and just hyping everybody. Like, if they're able to do that with Goat, this is exactly another song that can just liven up the audience. Like, that's the energy that this is giving. The headbanging is insane, and again, I absolutely love how they're so unbarred right now when it comes to the songs that they're doing. There's no hesitation. It's just so high level, intense, dynamic. Literally, oh my gosh, what happened to my hair? But it's literally one of those things that you watch a performance and you feel the tension building up. And again, as I mentioned, not everyone is gonna like or are liking the music and the direction that No.Ⅰ is going at the moment, especially if you're a fan from their previous era, where there's a lot of like, there's a huge difference and a huge gap. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but there's just a huge difference when it comes to the genres that they're taking on. But what I like about this moment is you can definitely feel that it reflects so much of their kind of like personal style, and there's a lot less hesitation in producing songs that are kind of like, before they were a bit careful when it comes to how fans might perceive songs that they produce based from their own preferences. But for now, what I think is that they're just pushing what they can out there, hoping that their fans would see their vision, and to kind of like understand that this is the identity that they're trying to shape for themselves now as artists. And I'm really, really happy to see that, because it really reflects in the way that their performance is being delivered. Like, for example, for this one, it's a TV performance, and I'm not saying, like, even in their past performances with other songs, they always give it their 300% when they're doing it. But for this one, it's not very dynamic when it comes to choreography, but it must be exhausting to perform, simply because of, again, they're dancing, they're really, like, you have to have a certain type of energy to be able to pull off the vibe that is Inazuma. And I absolutely love this song. I've talked about this before. I love really kind of like gori-gori type of songs, and that's why this is up my alley. Like, No.I's current music is certainly just up my alley, and Inazuma is definitely adding to my new favorites. I can't wait to start streaming it over and over and adding it to my playlist. It's just so, like, for me, it's so good, and I understand if other people aren't really much into it or all these other things, just looking for more mellow type of music and stuff like that. But for me, it just shows a lot of what they can do now and how they're expanding and what type of genres they're trying to take on and what kind of like artists they want to be and how they want to present themselves. And I think it's very, very smart the way that they're doing this, because it's very mindful of, again, live performances. It speaks a lot to Jin's type of production style, and I love that. And I saw the teaser as well. It's so cute. Again, it's giving kind of like a retro video game vibe, a bit of like Marvel Iron Man type of thing with one of the scenes. Not so much steampunk, but in a sense there's also kind of like touches of that, possibly, because again, there's just a teaser. We'll most likely find out more as more teasers go by and when the actual music video pops up. But I think we're in for another creative ride when it comes to this release, and I just can't stop gushing about it. And I think the reason why they performed it in Music Station is they're probably planning to perform this in Summer Sonic today, which is, again, it's a festival and it just fits that kind of vibe and genre entirely, and I think that's super amazing. And yeah, so with that said, Tell me down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on this performance? Are you looking forward to the music video? I sure am. Please expect a reaction / review video from me when the music video pops out. That's along the pipeline, surely. I'm also going to be making a video about the numbering performance or the numbering concert. I don't have the numbering uchiwa or the pen light. Makes me so sad. I only have like the 2 heroes one right here. But yeah, that's basically it for today's video. Tell me all your thoughts down in the comments as usual, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one. Bye!